My name is Luke Bertrand. I'm a current D2 at Creighton University School of Dentistry, and I'm going to be giving you a tour around campus, telling you a little bit of information about what life like a dental student is and how you can get here. I am from Bossier City, Louisiana originally, and I moved up to St. Louis for St. Louis University for undergrad, where I majored in health sciences, and I was in a Martin Luther King Jr. Scholars Program where I did a lot of service work. I was an orientation leader and a tour guide, if you can't tell. But I think all these things kind of helped me craft me into the best dentist or dental student I can be today, and it has brought me here, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more. Follow me. Okay, I wanted to do this segment in our yoga studio because they really care about our mental health here, but there's class going on, so I can't go in there. So instead you're getting the radiology lab, the viewing lab. But I want to talk about why I became interested in dentistry. More so my why now, which has changed from when I was younger. My first interaction with dentistry was actually when I was 10. It was my 10th birthday party, and it was an 80s themed birthday, but for some reason we decided to play Kesha's TikTok, which was my anthem at the time. And I ran to the front of the stage, slipped on grapes, the fruit, and broke my 2 front teeth. So these are actually crowns now. And that was my first ever interaction, seeing how the sad kid could transform his life into having brand new teeth that were drastically broken from that one tragic night. So it kind of showed me like the union between science and art. And I loved that as like a very artistic kid. And that was my first interaction, and I loved it since then. But as I got older, I experienced more opportunities within the service and community service, and understanding how my actions can help others, and especially dentistry, because in dentistry, as many of you might know, a lot of insurance companies, it's like an elective form of insurance. Like they don't always offer dental care or even eye care. So being able to provide that to a lot of people is really, really helpful and impactful. But also, when I was a second year in undergrad, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I went through treatment with that. And I saw how dentistry plays not only a role within service and art and making people's lives better aesthetically, but it plays a crucial care in preventative care throughout cancer care, throughout chemo, radiation. You play a crucial role in that, but also preventing cancer from spreading. Cancers can happen throughout the oral cavity, and you spend a lot of time throughout your education here in a university learning about pathologies and how to identify that and how to treat that and how to send people to get care early on. Like a lot of times you are the first person that will see cancer. So you play a crucial role in not only helping others that have a lower economic status or don't have access to insurances. You play a huge role in preventing care, but you also play a huge role in transforming kids' lives who slipped on grapes and broke their 2 front teeth. So my why, and I'm sure your why, will change throughout time, but it's important to understand that dentistry plays a crucial role throughout everyone's lives, and you will change lives and you will have people cry. I've already seen patients here who have cried, and it's been like, 3 patients so far, and they've cried to me because I've changed their life, and it really is an impactful career, and I love it, and I think you'll love it. So really take the time to understand your why, go out there and explore, job shadow, do anything you can, do a lot of service work, talk to others, and really form that why and hold on to that, because trust me, you'll need that why to get through a lot of classes, because the anatomies, the histologies are so hard, and you find yourself thinking, why? But that is your why. So keep doing it. You've got this. Okay, to talk about the DAT, I brought you to our D1 and D2 clinic. It's beautiful in here. You'll spend a lot of time here. But basically, the big question is, how do you prep for the DAT? And I use 2 resources, DAT Bootcamp and Chad's videos. They both cost money, and DAT Bootcamp actually has a great 3-month study guide that I used. Starting from December to March, took my exam in mid-March. And I think if I want to give you 3 pieces of advice, it's don't let this exam stress you out. Do your absolute best, but know that if you don't do well, you can always retake it. I did not go to any days at Creighton, Impressions Day, mainly because I didn't live here. I had no access to come. But if you do those things, good. I never really interacted with the school besides my application and researching it. But I think you can stand out as a student and a dental student without going to those things and spending the money to go across the states to attend all these events. I think it's important to be yourself. Obviously, I'm a very flamboyant, outgoing guy, so I stand out quite easily, but I want to encourage you that everyone can stand out. You don't have to be super loud like I am, like the loudest person in the room. That doesn't have to be the case, but you can find things about your application that make yourself unique. For me, it was all the service that I did in undergrad. I did a lot of service related to dentistry specifically, so understanding how the role of service we do at Creighton impacts people in our community. We provide, I think, 75 of the 80, I could be wrong, it could be a little more, chairs in all of Nebraska, meaning we do a lot of service work, nonprofit service work. And I could make that connection. They could see that my service interest would apply with their views. So finding out how you stand out yourself and how that can be used at Creighton. Make them want you. Find reasons that make yourself appealing as a dental student. And I encourage you to find things beyond your DAT, beyond your GPA, things that you do outside of school to make yourself want it, right? They hear it every day. They hear, I got a 25, but I can't talk to people. All these things that, like, you can't just be academic. It's multifaceted. It's a multifaceted career. So give them a little more, give them something to work with, and I think you'll do great. If I can do it, you can do it. I promise you. Okay, so right behind me is the admissions office. And unfortunately, whenever I was interviewing, it was during COVID era. So mine was a lot different than yours is going to be, but it has the same premise. I was in the first set of interviews, which start around September. So again, get your application in as soon as possible. Since it's a rolling admission, you'll be getting interviews as early as September, but it's basically set into two distinct sections. The first section is gonna be with a current student called our ambassadors here, where you can ask them any question. It's open-ended, it's not proctored by any admissions committee, and you can kind of get a tour around campus. You can ask them any questions you have about the school itself, the surrounding area, living, any question. And then the next part is going to be with the admissions committee. It's basically just a free-for-all conversation with them where you can ask them questions. One big tip is just to be very well-versed in your application, because they can ask you anything from, I know my friend wrote in her application as a job that she ran consults during swim meets, and they literally asked her about that. So they can ask you anything and everything about your application. But overall, it's not a stressful experience. Both the ambassador, the student ambassador, and the admission committee are so nice and just really want to know if you'll fit in here above everything else. When I was applying to schools, I did pretty well in the DAT. Had a lot of service hours, had a lot of shadowing hours. I applied to a lot of schools. I got into quite a few schools. Overall, it came down to what that school would do for me. So the program, the cost, and the location. Those are my three main factors. The program was most important. There's a lot of schools out here that are big names and they're very research-based. But for me, I'm trying to go into a nonprofit general dentistry program where I'm just servicing the community. I don't want to go into residency. So my plan right after this is just to go out and start working. I want to go to a school that is really good clinically. It gets you in there into the clinic as soon as possible. And Creighton does that. And one of the best things that I always tell people about is the fact that Creighton does not have a residency program, meaning there's no ortho on site, there's no pediatrics, there's no endo, there's no residents, basically. We still have those here, but that means that those endo cases, those pediatric cases, those ortho cases are going straight to us. So we get to see all of that. And a lot of schools, you don't have that opportunity. A lot of times that you'll just get sent to go assist with them and not actually get to do the procedure yourself. But here, people do 30 crowns, you do 30 operative cases, you do 30 pros cases, you do molar endo, which is a big word here. Like, that's hard endo, but you're doing that here. Overall, great school, clinically. And the program is great. They want you to succeed. The classes are hard, but they're here to help you. They have a lot of resources for you. The community is great. I've not had any problems. I know as like a little queer boy in the Midwest, it's scary. It's very scary being here at first, but I'm here and I can attest it's a very welcoming school. It is Jesuit, meaning it's Christian value-based, but I've realized you don't have to be that either to be here. We have people from all walks of life, which is very nice. Now, second, cost. A lot of private schools are very expensive. I'll say Creighton, for being a private school, not bad. It's around 70K. We do have some scholarships available, so look into those. I'm on a diversity and inclusion scholarship, which is awesome. I think the perk of being at a private school too is that you get people from all over the country and world, whereas a lot of your public schools and state schools, it's just gonna be that state. So it's awesome here. I have friends from all over the country, all over the world. Awesome. Location, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, for those that don't know where Creighton is, which at first sounds scary because trust me, I was scared, but I've realized Omaha's kind of awesome. And I'm glad I've come. It's like a small, big city. It has the most restaurants per capita, meaning I'm eating a lot of good food, and there's a lot of diverse food here. Literally, it's amazing here. I love it. I've had a great time. I'm glad I chose Creighton. Sometimes I think about the locations in the world that I could have been, but I'm glad I put location third on my list, prioritized the cost and program, because ultimately I can live anywhere for 4 years, and I'm glad I'm living here. I'm glad I'm going to Creighton, and I think it was the best choice for me. The process of going from a pre-dental student to a dental student is kind of wild. You go from spending all this time preparing for entrance into dental school by taking pre-dental classes, major specific classes, doing all the service, job shadowing, working, but also like you still have a lot of free time. You're only in class a couple hours a day, doing homework, busy work. And then you enter dental school where the world's a lot different. Like you're doing a lot of things that are pertaining just to dentistry. You have a lot of hard sciences that are happening your first year, a lot of course load, a lot of big exams. And at first, it's a lot of imposter syndrome for sure, but you get the hang of it, right? I mean, if you took the DAT, you took all these hard classes, you definitely have the ability to continue on and keep doing it in dental school. It's just a change of adjustment. It's a mindset. I think you have to come in here realizing that it shouldn't be a competition. You shouldn't be competing with your peers. You should be doing your best, but also maintaining your mental health, your social well-being. So if that means not getting an A on every exam, that's okay. An A in every class is not needed. My best piece of advice is just don't hit the wall. You know, like you need to do everything you can to have endurance. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's like drinking water out of a fire hydrant. It's a lot of information, and you can't overwhelm yourself. And sometimes you have multiple exams in a week, multiple exams in a day, and you just have to realize that you have to prioritize certain things in life. You can't always get that A, and you just have to go in there, realize you're supposed to be in there, do the best you can, and know that you will get through it. Because one thing that I've learned is that once you're in dental school, that dental school wants you to be there and wants you to succeed, and they will do everything they can to help you succeed, whether that's getting tutoring, whether that's talking to a counselor, whether that's finding study groups. They will do anything, and you are just there to learn. You are there to do your best, and I promise you can do it. I promise it's hard. We've all done it, and we're here to help always. Hi everyone, welcome to the 4th floor. This is where you're gonna spend a lot of time your D1 year. This is like mainly all for D1 students. You have your lecture classes over here. You have a lot of D1s over here where they're studying, getting ready for class. And if you come this way with me, it keeps getting better. There's food, everything, you have access to everything. Your D1 year, it's basically an 8 to 5 with some leeway room. A lot of science classes, you have some labs as well. But what's the nicest part about our school is that as soon as you get into D1 year, you have automatic access to handpieces and all the instruments you'll always use within your dental practice. So as soon as you step foot in here, you're already doing things that are dental related, which is awesome. So you have a couple of your main classes like your anatomies, your physiologies, your histologies, your neurosciences, anatomy labs, cadaver lab, that's all happening on this floor. You have this floor basically to yourself, which is so awesome. But we also share a floor down below where we have our clinics, where your sim clinics with your D1, D2 students. So let's head there now. I'll give you a little tour there as well, see some people working. It'll be fun. Follow me. Ladies first. So this is basically the floor for everyone else. This is Dr. Sullivan. He's awesome. Love his work. One of our professors around here. But if you keep walking this way, you'll have the sim clinic for the D2s and D1s, where you'll spend equally as much time as upstairs. Again, as soon as you enter your D1 year, you have your science classes, but you also have a good mix of your dental classes, which keeps things interesting, fun, and you don't really get that burnout from just being exhausted with your sciences all the time. Let's see what some people are doing. So here's Erin. She's a D2 student, but this is basically where your other amount of time will be spent. Another good perk of our school is that everything is included in tuition. So what you can do is if you walk over here and you see lovely Miss Dawn, anything you need, she can provide for you. You have unlimited access to birds, to teeth to practice on, instruments, within reason, of course, but she's your main go-to girl, and we hope she doesn't retire before you get here. Okay, instead of me just answering what makes me so excited about going to my school, let's ask everyone else like what makes them excited, so it's like a little bit longer of a video, right? First off, we need to grab a lab coat. Can't go in there without a lab coat. Let's go. Tyler, what makes you so excited about going to Creighton?
The fact that we get a lot of exposure to different types of advanced cases and stuff that a lot of schools don't get to see that have residency programs.
Molar Endo.
I am excited to go to Creighton because we build a community here built upon service, and we also get to step into a lot of different specialties like endo and peds and pros.
This is pediatrics right here, front and center. Thanks, Matt.
You're welcome, thank you.
I would say my favorite thing about Creighton is the fact that we don't have residencies here, so we get to do a lot of complex cases, see a lot of things that most dental students really get to. We get a lot more chances to do complex prosthodontics cases, lots of operative. We even get to do implants some point, so that's really nice.
Definitely the professors.
The new facility and the buildings and amenities that are granted to us.
Being with patients and thinking about the whole person.
How early do you get to work with patients?
I've already had my first cleaning patient, and my first operative patient is after spring break.
So early work.
I love Creighton because we get lots of experience, we get to do everything, we get a lot of mentorship, and all around good education.
The amount of clinical exposure we get.
The Creighton athletic teams and watching the sports teams play.
And lastly, we're gonna get my favorite person. His name's Andy.
What makes me most excited about going to Creighton is all my friends.
Rapid fire advice for pre-dental students from my peers. Let's go.
Ask for your letters of recommendation early.
Give yourself grace and don't take school too seriously all the time.
Turn in your application ASAP.
Enjoy the process.
Apply to as many schools as possible.
Be a well-rounded student in extracurriculars.
Apply to a place that aligns with your values.
Period. And just like that, it's 5 o'clock. My day's over, and I hope yours is too. Just to recap, we've discussed a lot of things from the DAT to the interview process to what it's like not having a residency here at Creighton and how that allows us to have so many more opportunities within the clinic, to seeing why we all love Creighton. And I do hope it becomes a great school for you too. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. My email is lukebertrand@creighton.edu. TikTok, That Gay Dentist. Instagram, That Gay Dentist. Find me anywhere, everywhere. I'm here to answer any questions for you. I know it's been a lot. I know this journey's a lot for you, and I hope I can help anyway. But let me know. Until then, I'm gonna go lay. I'm tired.